Welcome to Out the Trunk with Jordan and Darius. My name is Darius. That's D's all up in your area on all socials.
And I'm Jordan. That's Jordy B. Writing on all socials.
This is our shooting the shit segment. What's on our mind? What's going on? Musings, if you will. Jordan, you said you wanted to start this one off. So what's up?
Yeah, so I got a really deep philosophical question I want to ask you.
Okay.
No pressure to answer.
Okay.
So, if there's a coconut tree and there's a monkey, a giraffe, and a zebra,
Okay.
who's going to get to the banana first?
There's a coconut tree and there's a
Hmm.
monkey, a giraffe, and a zebra. There's the banana. Who's gonna get to the banana first?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. It's a coconut tree. Why would there be a banana in it?
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
You don't remember
Uh,
that question?
I was playing it off like I didn't remember, but yes, I
Oh.
remember that. I was just going along with the bit.
No, no, not for you. Yeah, I was hanging out with Jay Friday or Saturday. I stopped in to hang out for a little bit, and he told me that, and I was like, he was like, man, did not get the answer right.
I didn't at all. Because I was not exactly sober, but
Right, right.
no, I didn't catch it at all. And honestly, this how I knew of the story, but I
Yeah.
thought for some reason it was told at your birthday party. I didn't even remember that it was Jay who did the
Uh,
bit. And so I was assuming that because you went back home or back to your friends or wherever you
mhm,
went last Friday, that you
yeah.
forgot that I was there to heard the story. And so I was playing it off like I
Oh,
hadn't heard it before.
oh.
Um, the pod just learned I'm really good at lying. And no, I totally forgot that that was Jay who told the story. But no, you cannot get a banana from a coconut tree.
That is
So
true.
it is a sleight of hand. He's a magician. So
Um,
any more tongue twisters and teasers or anything like that?
um, None off the top of my head. That was never really my thing. I knew some knock jokes back in the day, but it's been a while since I read a joke book, so.
Knock jokes. All right. Moving right along. Real quick, I saw this tweet, man. And it just made me so real because I saw this new soul food restaurant, and the tweet
Mhm.
said, uh, one thing that gets me is that black carryout spots, no matter if it's soul food, Jamaican, or any African food spots, African is like a whole continent, but nonetheless,
Right.
um, they be charging an arm and a leg. He was like, Mexican and Chinese carryout don't be doing that. And you know what? Sometimes when you're right, you're right. And
Yeah.
there's a new. I'm not gonna name the
Soul food
restaurant.
comes at a
There's
cost.
yeah. One as someone who cooks, I will say soul food often doesn't translate to a commercial setting because it's very labor intensive.
Right.
And let's say you have an Italian restaurant, you can make a giant pot of red sauce and just use that shit all
You can
day,
use that all day.
and no one cares. You can't do that
Hmm.
with a pan of macaroni and cheese. You cannot do
No,
that
no,
with a
no.
pan of greens. You
No.
can't do that with baked beans. Like there's just
You can
it
literally
all
only do that with the grease.
correct, and all that shit has to be fried fresh. And you can bring like even with like Italian
Hmm.
food, like you can bring meatballs back to life 4 hours later out of the
Right.
fridge, straight out of the fridge, and bring
Facts.
it
That's
back to
true.
4 hours later, and it'll taste just fine. You can't do that with
Hmm.
fried chicken. You can't.
That is
Uh,
true.
and so soul food is very labor intensive. And it does not hold as long as other foods. So that would,
Correct.
even with all those disclaimers, man, there's this new soul food restaurant in Cary, North Carolina. And for those listeners who aren't from the area, Raleigh, Cary are
Same
basically
thing.
the same thing.
Yeah.
And I looked at the pricing because, support black business and
Right.
a two meat plate with two sides and cornbread was $30, $28. I'm not gonna lie, it was
Yeah.
$28.
28.
And I just for takeout. And I'm like, you know how much General
Yeah.
Tso's chicken I can get for $28?
Yeah. No, you can get two. Yeah, you can get two orders. You can get like the 2 quarts and maybe a pint.
Yeah. Do you know
Yeah.
how many birria tacos I get for $28?
Yeah.
It's like, why is this
Yeah.
so much, man? And it's like, I tweeted about it. Like the price positioning is weird because it's carry out, right?
Hmm.
And let's just say you and your old lady, it's a Saturday, the game is on, you don't feel like
Yeah.
cooking. So let's go pick up some carry out. for both of you, it's $70. We might as well go out to eat. Like, like what is the
Yeah,
like? I don't understand where this price point is positioning yourself in the food
yeah,
market.
correct. Or
Because
you could
like,
literally just DoorDash the tacos, and it would be the same price with all the fees.
not even. It'd be less than
Well, not
that.
yeah, not even
Like,
yeah, not
it's
even.
just if if two people are $70 to eat, like for
Right.
takeout, you get it in the fucking styrofoam cup,
Yep.
styrofoam box takeout. I might as well just go out to eat. I don't
Yeah.
understand where this doesn't make any sense to me. So that's what I wanted to say about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to really be in the mood to like do carry out with like soul food and shit like that, or even like Jamaican food.
Yeah,
Granted, good Jamaican spots that we
few
like are
and far
always like across
between.
town. Yeah, that too. And they're usually out of stuff, or you gotta wait, and which that's not their fault. That's just demand and stuff. But yeah,
Well,
it's
it's
not always
just,
convenient.
and it's often not that great. Because soul food made at scale, like
Right.
the love that I can make one pan of macaroni and cheese,
Hmm.
and that's fine. But like to think about like quadrupling that and then doing that every hour and keeping that same level of quality,
Yeah.
it's hard, man. It's hard. So
You can't mass produce it and still put your foot in it.
no, you can't. And you just not the same way you can, like I said earlier, with the big ass pot of red sauce. Like you could just
Hmm.
it just and that shit'll last all day. But anyways,
Right.
I don't think there's a lot of meat on that bone. No pun intended. Dun dump. So making friends as an adult. What do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so a good friend of mine, who's a little bit younger than me, they asked me what what did I do in terms of like making friends in my 20s, or how did I start making friends um as an adult after like kind of the college phase, or when you just get fresh out of college phase. It actually stumped me for a while because I really like couldn't remember. And at first, like you kind of take for granted when the friends you have, when you like have them, you get so used to them, you almost forget how you meet them.
Yeah.
Um, it made me think like, 'cause I remember at that time period, I was like, I do remember when I was like 25, 26, and I was like really trying to figure out, okay, like how do I meet people? They always say like don't make friends with people you work with
Yeah.
because that's a mistake, which it is. But also you do spend more time with them than you spend with your family, so it's
I
a
think
hard
it's
ask.
fine to make friends with coworkers. It's a terrible idea to fuck your coworkers.
That is true. That's true.
A
And even being
recurring
friends
theme
with
on
them
this
can be
pod.
terrible too. That can work
As
out
long as
poorly
you,
too.
you know, um, I think it works as long as you don't talk about work. Like I have a
Yeah.
coworker
Yeah.
who is also from Minnesota, and we'll text about the
Hmm.
Vikings during the Vikings game.
Right.
And like we don't obviously when we chat about work via work, it's a bit looser, but I still keep in
Correct.
mind that this is a coworker.
This is right.
And I treat it like I'm being recorded, like
Same. Yeah, you don't say anything that
like,
they can use in a court of law.
all right. But yeah, I
Um,
think it's fine to make friends at work. Just don't fuck your coworkers.
that's true
So
too. And I said like I think a big thing, at least in our generation, is going out alone can seem like a very like intimidating idea because a lot of people now just only go out in groups, it feels like. So I think I told him that was one thing that I started doing, was just like going out alone and just kind of getting comfortable doing things by yourself so that way you are able to function socially as like in a group in a way. I think also one thing I started doing was just like doing shit that I enjoy, and then that's kind of how I found people that had the same interests as I did. Like when I started going to poetry and doing open mics, met a lot of people. You go to more open mics, you meet more people. That bleeds into other communities, stuff like that. That was one thing that definitely helped me develop my social circle as a young adult.
what I will say is for the youngins,
Hmm.
enjoy the time when all of your friends are in the same city. You'll never get that again.
Yes.
So just
No. Yeah.
enjoy
You will
that.
never get that
That's
again.
milk that for all it's worth. Enjoy that. You'll never get that again. And also, as you
Mm.
make friends as an adult, be cognizant of the fact that adult life is a bit more hectic than
Yes.
young adult life, college life, whatever. And
Hmm.
sometimes your friends, through no malice, just might not have time for you. And like I'm sure like with poetry friends, you don't have to name names. Like it runs
Right.
hot and it runs cold. And it's not anyone's
No.
fault.
Yeah.
It's just that,
Absolutely. Yeah.
like you
Absolutely.
might link with that person 4 times in 6 weeks and then not see them for 6 months. And it's not no
Literally.
beef.
That's
It's
literally what happens.
just
Absolutely.
it's not like college. We don't all live in the same street. Like
Right.
like it's just harder than that. But what I will
Hmm.
say is I read a book a while ago, Robert Putnam's called Bowling Alone. I think it was released in the 90s, so it was quite prescient for the time. And it
Hmm.
was just like all of the third spaces have sort of been removed.
Hmm.
You don't go to people don't go to bowl. There's no bowl like when you watch like The Simpsons and or Married with Children
Uh,
and
okay, yeah,
Al has
yeah.
like a bowling league.
Right.
That was him socializing. And like there's no
Yeah,
bowling
cheers.
leagues. Yeah, like Cheers or bowl like but see the bowling leagues, the pool leagues, the
Hmm.
poetry, like that's all, especially for men, like that's you have to find a way to socialize in a disarmed way. Like you're not going to go out looking
True.
for friends. You have to just find things that you enjoy and make friends while doing that.
Correct. Yes.
And also, be cognizant of how you present yourself in public. If you're on your phone at the bar, sitting there staring at your phone, you look unapproachable, whether you want to be approached or not.
Right.
No one's going to talk to someone while they type on their phone.
Hmm.
And you
That's
know,
true.
if you're watching the game, say something out loud. Someone might hear what you said and engage in conversation with you. Now, do
Yes.
I want to do first take every night in the bar? No, but if that's your thing,
No.
you can find it. Like, I've traveled for work. I've moved a couple of times. I've done a lot. I've gone out solo a lot. And life is what you make it, man. If you go out and if you're angry faced and staring at your phone all night, you're not going to meet anybody. And
Right.
if you always say no to stuff and people invite you to, this watch party or this
Hmm.
event, and I'm not Mr. Social, but I try to say yes enough to where you can get out the house. And,
Yeah.
these, it, you know, you have to, like I said, life is what you make it, and you have to put effort into it. You're not going to
Hmm.
make friends playing PlayStation every night. You're just not in real
No.
life. You might make some internet friends, and those are real friends, don't get me wrong, but it's just different,
Yeah.
like there's just a different connection with real life friends, with internet friends or whatever. So I know I got people who, you know, they work remote and then they get off of work and then they, go to the gym with headphones on the whole time and then they get back from the gym and then they watch TV and then they
Right.
go to sleep. And I'm like, well, what opportunity was there for you to make friends or meet a woman?
Correct.
Like, like where was anyone
Yeah.
supposed to talk to you in any of that? And you have to,
Right.
it's something I had to learn myself is you have to put the effort in yourself before, if you want results, because it's not just going to happen. You're not in college anymore.
Right.
You're not No, you're just not. That environment isn't coming back. So it requires just a little bit more effort to get
Effort.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing about like finish after like all your school years in secondary school and obviously undergrad education, things of that nature is there's no longer like proximity is no longer as big of a factor. Um, in friendships, like even like in what's a movie we did last week, Good Boys, where they
Yeah.
literally said like, when you get older, it's not so much you're just a lot of times you realize when you were young, you're friends with people because your parents were friends or you live on the same street and you lived in the same neighborhood, you're in the same cul-de-sac, like now it's so much more difficult to maintain and uphold these friendships, because everybody's got their shit going on. Like say, like it's we work Monday through Friday, so those days are usually too tired after work or you're too busy, you got to get ready for the next day. If you got to travel that weekend and they don't have to, and they're working or they have to travel and you're working, that's another 2 weeks you won't see each other. Like it can very easily add up to or snowball to, like you said, being 6 months before you link again. Like
And the thing
um,
is, social socialization is a muscle too, like any other
right,
muscle. And when you want your chest to grow or your arms to grow, you go to the gym and it like sitting on the couch is comfortable. Lifting those weights is
right,
uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And you go to the gym and then you lift that heavy shit and it hurts and
hmm,
your biceps grow and it feels great. And like you have to be able to you have to embrace that discomfort just like you with your social muscles, just like you do with, working out. And it's like, okay,
right,
going to that poetry by myself and not knowing anyone, that's uncomfortable. That
yeah,
that I hate these words, but like, it unlocks some sort of like social anxiety. But to me, that social
yeah,
anxiety is just your muscles resisting that tension. And
correct,
like you're not gonna get any better at it, and your muscles are never gonna grow if you just take that anxiety and go back home. Like you have to
right. That's
you
very true.
have to power through, like
Your
that's
anxiety doesn't get better by not doing things.
that's not to say that anxiety isn't real, but to stay with the metaphor, I think a lot of it is just unused muscles and like that feeling
Yeah.
that you get. Like when you were a kid and your parents made you go to the neighborhood kid's birthday party and you
Birthday
didn't want
party.
to because you didn't know anyone there. That was
Hmm.
anxiety, but you just worked through it and you got powered through it. And like I just feel like we've
Hmm.
stopped powering through it, you know? And it's like,
Yes.
well, part of that is a lot of the cultural institutions we don't do. Like millennials haven't gotten married at the same rate, haven't had kids the same rate. We don't go to church
Right.
at the same levels. But like a lot of that was socialization, you know? Like
Hmm.
when the kids go to the park and the dads hang out and have a beer and talk about the Vikings game, that's socializing. But like that
Right.
isn't there anymore. Or like, you know, my parents, I'm not a religious person, but my parents are quite religious. And, you know, I used
Yeah.
to feel a way about them going to church, but you know, like I said, you know, those are the people that bring them soup when they're sick. Those are the people
Hmm.
who let them borrow their car when their car is broken down. Like that's very valuable, even if I don't have a connection to it spiritually.
Correct.
And so we've sort of stopped the family formation and the having the children and the church, but we didn't really replace it with anything. And
That's
and
correct.
it's not that you have to do that. Like that, it's a free world. You can choose whatever you want to do, but you need to
Hmm.
replace the social aspects that came with that with something. Because if you're just sitting
Yeah.
around watching Netflix slop all day, it's not, you know, it's not going to get any
Right.
better. You know, like you have to go out. You have to find reasons to, you know,
Yeah.
if your favorite team is playing and you're in a new city, Google that favorite. Is there any bars with that favorite
Is
team?
there any that team bar? Yep. Hmm.
Go to there, talk to somebody. There's a Vikings fan there. There's a Commanders fan there. There's a Broncos fan. So every city has a bar for your team. I
Correct.
promise. Every big city.
Yeah, like same, like that's a real thing. Like my mom, like growing up, my mom had a book club, and her friends would come over on Saturdays, or they go to different, they'd switch hosting every every week or whatever. And like, was it really, were they talking about books all the time? No, not really. It was an excuse to hang out, have charcuterie boards. I don't think it was called that at the time,
Yeah.
whatever, and drink some wine and shoot their shit and relax without their kids stressing them out and pissing them off, stuff like that. Like,
Or with the kids. I remember my mom would do that
or
shit.
yeah,
All
or
the
with the
kids would just
kids.
be in the
Yeah,
basement playing
yep.
PlayStation.
We just
And
be in the
that was
basement.
us
Yeah, playing
socializing
with
with
Legos and
strangers.
shit. Correct. Or even like like my dad, the barbershop. Like we would go to the barbershop and we would just be there all day. And we'd just be hanging out, and he'd give us $20 to go across the street to KFC, and we'd come back and we'd hang out with the guys, and we'd hear shit we weren't supposed to be hearing, obviously, but like, it's socialization. Um, and I feel like that's really a lost part of society now. I don't know if how much the pandemic played a role in that too. I feel like a lot of people lost their social muscles and never gained them back. But
It's like any other muscle. And I say this as a card carrying introvert, man.
yeah.
If you don't stretch it out, if you don't put it under tension, it's not gonna get
Hmm.
better, you know?
No, dead ass.
Like